episode 5 with Coach Hurt hitting up just in a couple of minutes right now. It's all in the family show, all in the family. But you know what? Hey, before we get that, we got to talk to each other and see how our week went. Josh Doad, principal of Memorial Pathway Academy in Garland ISD. Garland, USA, ready to rock and roll. Just finished off the school year, getting ready for TASSP, where I'll be presenting 2 sessions. One about our love, Dr. Moreno, EBs, and how to brand your school, those things that we do on social media. But you know what? How are you doing, Marie? How's your week so far?
Oh my God, Josh, I've had a very, very busy week, but you know what? It's been fabulous. Before I even get started, congratulations on another successful year, sir. I saw your post on X and all of the wonderful children that graduated. So congrats to another year well done. I will say I missed the seat. I really do miss the seat as being principal, but you know what? I get to see all the wonderful things that people are doing from behind the scenes now, and seeing all of that going on. All the kids graduating. Oh my God, the work that you do is amazing. So hats off to you, sir. I just wanted to make sure I throw that in and give you kudos. But you know, my week has been awesome. It's been really good. It's been I just got back from a fundraiser yesterday, helping raise money for Tanzania and working with students out there. So if you don't come as an EB student, I'm going to go help you over there.
I think that it's crucial that before we get into our awesome, fantastic 4 member right now, tell people a little bit about your project with Tanzania. Because you know what? Iron sharpens iron, and you need to throw that out there, please.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Josh. Well, as I mentioned, my background is working with EB students. And as a former newcomer principal, 32 countries, 29 different languages, you know, my job has always been supporting our students that are here from other countries. But I've also traveled to 12 other countries. I've been to Cuba, I went to Guatemala, Tanzania, Kenya. And so right now I am actually a board member for the school called Promise Village Academy in Tanzania, just south of Arusha. And I am actually taking educators in October to experience exactly what I experienced. And that's just being immersed in the Maasai tribe and working with them and helping them learn English. It's considered the last tribe in Africa, in Tanzania, to learn to be educated. So
Awesome. Thank you. And you know what? That's something, a rich culture, the Maasai people, something to develop and grow us together as one world community. But you know what? That's enough about you. That's enough about our Jaguars graduating. That's enough about the chair. It's about the Fantastic 4, but specifically Coach Hurt coming into the show right now. Coach Hurt, Fantastic 4, reach out on his platform on Facebook, on LinkedIn. He is there live on X also. Check him out. Sean Hurt, part of the Fantastic 4 with himself, starting at 10 p.m. Eastern. Then it's Shika Houston and Tammy Taylor, the talkers. And then the GOAT, Jefe, Principal Cafele at 10:59, where he does his breakdown. And then we end up the weekend here with Dr. Moreno, myself, the Fantastic 4. Coach Hurt, how are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. I can't complain. I'm doing excellent. Sunday evening. It's quite sunny in Michigan. I'm over here in Michigan, so I can't complain.
Beautiful, beautiful. Hey, Coach, let's get started. You know what? The most important thing about anything is the dropping the street cred. You know that Principal Cafele always says, I like people to know at the beginning who we are, because not just some psycho off the street is talking to you, presenting to you, someone that has the street cred. So, hey, Coach, talk to the audience out there, all the world. We're going to have Fantastic 4 personnel coming and joining us right now, but give them a little bit of your background. Let them know what hats you've worn in education. And out of those hats, which one was your most favorite and why?
Okay, so just a little bit about myself. I've been in education for about 25 years. 25 years, started off as a second grade teacher. And then from there, I went from a second grade teacher to a assistant principal at a high school. And then from there, for the last about 17 years, I've been a principal at all areas, whether it was at a middle school and also at an elementary school. And during my time as
hold on.
Go ahead.
You went from a second grade educator, team member, to a high school AP.
Yes, you know what?
Okay, you see,
Yeah.
hold on. This is happening right now. People get
Okay.
that culture shock. You
Mm.
gotta tell the peeps out there what you went through, because I did the reverse. I went from ninth grade teacher to
Mhm.
elementary.
Gotcha.
Oh my Lord. Tell the
Yeah.
people the obstacles you faced with that.
So first, the biggest obstacle was understanding, at a second grade teacher, they're babies, you could talk to them and they're crying and whatever it may be. As a high school AP, they're not babies, they're young grown men and women. So they're dealing with young grown men and women things like after school, a couple of them are smoking cigarettes out in the back parking lot. A couple of them had kids so we're talking about real life stuff. A lot of them I had to sign off on a work permit for the summertime. So those type of things, it was a totally different mind shift to working with second grade kids where they're crying because they lost their toy or we're lining up and going to the bathroom. So yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it's a true culture
No.
shock. So those
Yeah.
people that are getting hired right now, because I know Dr. Moreno faced something similar. Hey, educator, you get hired right now, coach is about to talk good right now. So just make sure that you listen to this knowledge. Hey, which one was your favorite role?
Well, I think my favorite role is a building principal. Being able to impact the kids, the teachers, the community. Inspiring them just to be inspiring them just to be great, inspiring them just to kind of go to the next level. So that was really my favorite role.
What level is that right now? Are you a principal at what level?
No, I'm not a principal. For the last 3 years, I've been doing my own consulting business. What happened was that during the pandemic, my business has picked up, and then it got to a point where I had to step away from the principalship and just really do consulting full time based on the workload and things of that nature.
Before we get there, coach, can you tell us a little bit about like what motivated you to become an educator?
Well, no, what motivated me was that when I was a kid, I will always hear about these negative things coming from Detroit because I'm from Detroit. Schools weren't good, all of these bad things. So when I became a teacher, I saw the same thing happening that I experienced as a student 20 years from there. So I said, no way, I believe I can change it. I believe that I can really roll up my sleeves and show the world that 300, 400, 500 kids from inner city or even rural areas that's coming from deprived neighborhoods that we can give them a quality education. And I wanted to prove to myself that could take place. And when I became a principal and we were able to prove to the world based on our state scores, based on our district scores, that we can compete with some of the other schools, that's what really got me, pumped up and motivated to do the work that I'm doing.
So let's segue a little bit more into that, coach. You went from sitting in the chair to being a coach, because I'm the only one that calls you coach, because you're coaching, brother. Yes. You're coaching there. You're literally on the sideline with teams, with the principals. You're shining on your show at 10 p.m. Eastern in the morning on Saturdays. You're shining the light on your successes right now and the campuses that you want all of them to become National Blue Ribbon schools. You want them under your wing to make sure you guide them using the data. Okay. Doing that job right now, what do you see going from sitting in the chair and guiding your own sphere of influence now to different states, different cities? What do you see as the gains, the glows, and the grows of being a consultant, being a coach?
I think the glows is being able to see schools grow and achieve their dream. That's the biggest thing for me, to be able to have principals that have called me and said, hey, could you work with my school? And then to see them go from, say, a F report card to a B, or go from 35% proficient to 65 in their school. So I am, so they'll call me, they'll send me information. We will just celebrate together. Some of the grows is that understanding that passion, I cannot put my passion into them. So even though that's not my school, I'm still thinking about them all of the time. So I shouldn't have to, email you or call you or follow up so much. You should be, it should be following up with me, and understanding that these kids, these 700, 800 kids only have one opportunity. We can't make it up. We can't say, okay, fourth grade kid, you can do fourth grade over again next year. So as the principal, understanding that you have so much impact, so much influence on the students, the teachers, the community, all of the stakeholders.
Which, just a quick follow-up. For someone to use your services, what kind of mindset, not just the F or the D, we know that. We're looking for that coach. But if you're sitting in the chair and we call Sean Hurt, the turnaround principal, what kind of mindset must that school have to call you to make it an effective expenditure? Because, we are using kids' money, and we're using kids' money to call upon your services. There needs to be a mindset about that. So what kind of mindset must you have when we call for your, or anybody, any consultant?
Yeah. I think for me, the type of mindset that you need to have is that you need to believe that your kids in your school can achieve greatness. Not just lip service, but you really need to believe that. Now, when I say that you need to believe, that means that no matter what's been going on for the last 10, 15, 20 years at that particular school, you need to know that you as a principal are the individual that can make the change. You're the one that can say, you know what, even though we haven't had success, we're going to have success up under my leadership. Even though that we have a low graduation rate, we're going to increase that under my leadership. And I'm not going to be the normal school principal. I don't just work Monday through Friday. I'm working on Saturday. I'm working on Sunday. If I need to stay late or come early, whatever it's going to take to move the academic needle to make sure that these kids are learning, I am the one that can do it. So that's the type of mindset I love. When I see it, when I see that mindset, hey, sky's the limit.
Thank you for sharing that. Hey, I see we got people following us right now. Hey, let us know where you're coming from. And you know what? Drop some questions for Coach. Drop some comments. Let us know that you're part of this learning environment that we have. Dr.
Sure. Sean, can you let us see your book? Do you have a copy of that? Can you flash that for us really quick?
So this is my new book. Every parent must read this. Parent plus School equals student success.
That is amazing. Thank you for showing us the cover of the book. So can you tell us, why did you write this book with your wife?
Well, the reason why I wrote it is because we all know that I think the biggest thing is that if we can get the parents and schools working together, moving in the right direction, then it's going to impact the child in a positive way. So as a principal, as a teacher, I will always scratch my head and say, no, what, we need to reach out to the parents. We need to get parents to, do different things. But I never, ever had a tool or a book to say, Mom, Dad, read this, read chapter 1, read chapter 4 as a principal. So in the beginning of the year, we would do all of these fun activities. We'll give them what the kids need to have in the classroom. We'll give them the schedules. High school would do all those things. But we never gave parents tools to become better, to be able to understand what the schools mean. And also the flip side of that is that we never gave schools tools to be able to change how we go about reaching our parents and having them come. So that's where I felt that's why it was very important to write this book with me and my wife. I wrote it from the educational standpoint, from an educator, and my wife wrote from a parent standpoint, because we have 2 kids. We have a daughter that's 17 years old and a son that's 15 years old. So she wrote from that standpoint as well.
And that's amazing, because as a former principal myself, I always came up with, how do I educate my parents? Because making sure our parents are educated, because it's a collaboration, right? We have to work together. And I just love the fact that you and your wife, you put half of the work and she put the other half, the other side of it. So that's amazing. So can you tell me a little bit about what steps you need to be taken for parents and educators to work the same. So a little bit about your book and some of those tips that you have in there.
Well, I think the biggest thing that we talk about during the book is that we say that parent, mom and dad, you are the first role model. So what you see, what you do at home, I'm at my home, how you interact, how you talk, how do you just go about your everyday is going to have a negative or positive impact on the student. They don't want to hear what you say. They want to see how you conduct yourself. Now, along with that, Josh, that is so important. And now, along with that, now when I'm bringing my kid to the school, at least I'm giving them some type of foundation for the school to work with. Like for example, I always tell my parents this. When I was a principal, I had a second grader or third. No, I think it was a kindergarten kid. She was using profanity in the classroom. Every time she'd get mad, she would use profanity. Mm-hmm. Well, we know, and I know that was learned behavior from the house. So then we can't get mad at the child for using profanity. They're just modeling what they see at home. But it's having a direct impact on student learning inside of the school. So for the life of me, I'm like, okay, I thought because I was a parent that parents knew don't cuss around your kids, don't do all those, but they just did not know. They did not know. So that's one of the things I'm saying. Parents are the first role model for their student.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
So let's get into the whole parent thing. So when you're mentioning about them, how can they do or support their child when they get home? When you and I know, Coach, and Dr. Moreno also, that right now we're living in crazy times with our kids at home. Sometimes it's auntie, sometimes it's abuelita, sometimes it's the older brother and sister that takes care of the whole group at home. Yeah. And so we have to, and I think that's why your book is so valuable during these dark times when there is no connect. I concur with that. I'm the first one to say, I failed at that this year, connecting with parents. I failed at that, sitting in my chair. It's not even because you get tied up in the world of the chair within your campus. And then you're just like, let's try to maintain order. Let's make sure the kids are successful. Like you always talk about, Coach Hurd, about the data, about them being successful on their benchmarks, being successful on the state assessment. Yes. What can they do at home? Because we know that Ward and Jude Cleaver, they're out the door. We don't have Beaver to leave it to Beaver anymore. I'm sorry, millennials. You don't know what I'm talking about. I'm sorry, you youngins. You don't know what I'm talking about. But those of us that are in the business for a while understand that whole leave it to Beaver family is gone. So what ideas do you give out there to our parents, our community members, that they can do at home to help our hijos?
I think the first thing is just to have a routine with your child. So when your child comes home, just have a time. Just set out 30 to 35 minutes a day to sit with your child and just go over their homework or what they learned at school. Now, also with that, have an area in the house. So if it's the kitchen table, if it's the living room table, if it's the bedroom, wherever it is, this is the area that we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about school. That's something. You don't even have to know the lesson. You don't even have to help them out, but just to be able to sit down and talk about it and say, okay, let's get your homework out and let me sit down and you will sit down for 30 minutes to be able to do that homework. Why is that important? Because we expect the kids to sit down in school, not say, we expect that. So if they're being trained or if they're being modeled at home to sit down for 30 minutes to do work, then it will translate inside of the classroom. That's the first thing. Second thing is this. Second thing is that to make sure that your kid reads at least for 30 minutes a day. Just make sure, and then just have them. Yes, I know. Yes. So once again, that's that time. Okay, I don't have homework. Well, let's read for 30 minutes a day and give them something that they're interested in. Whatever that they like. They might like Kung Fu. They might like cartoons. Whatever that they like, let them read it, but just have them sit down for 30 minutes a day. And then you will see all of the parents that's on this podcast, you will see it will have a direct impact, a positive impact on your child doing better in school. We call it increasing reading stamina.
Now,
Yeah. Good.
let's dig a little bit deeper on there, Coach. I don't know if you could share an idea on this, but Dr. Moreno and my world, and now your world, you Detroit, you Boston, you Massachusetts, you're dealing with our EB kids.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Yes.
you're dealing with our El Salvadoreños, our Mexicanos, our Venezolanos, our Puerto Ricanos. So, what idea or suggestion can you give to the parents who are not well fluent or well versed in English to help with that reading? What suggestions do you give?
Well, then, well, a lot of times I will say go ahead and buy books that's going to support your native language first. Second is that in addition to that, I will go to the principal and have a meeting with the principal and say, do you have any materials at the school? Because you can use your Title I, Title II funding. So you have money, schools have money to be able to purchase materials that will be in their language. That will be in their language. So now, as a parent, I'm going to the school and I'm asking for those resources. I'm asking for them, and 10 times out of 10, the school will be able to provide those resources for you. Noah Josh Tarver, Principal Tarver, that is a good point. Thank you for asking. That's a very good point.
And I'd like to share that out with the audience, is that that's how I learned English. I still have the thousands of comic books. When I came to this country, I learned reading comic books. And that's exactly how I was able, because as it evolves, comic books have complex themes to them. It's not just Superman bash or Hulk destroy. There's complex themes, irony. There's different genres in there. And it really helped me as a emergent bilingual newcomer, EL. I don't know, they call our names everything. And so comic books help. And it's something that I remember. Acuérdense, papás, tienen que leer lo que ellos quieren leer. The kids need to read what they want to read, because we force feed them what to read. They're going to turn us off because they've got this.
Exactly.
Thanks, Coach.
And you know what? Research says that if you want students to learn how to read, to understand English, they have to read. Right. And so absolutely, when you said 30 minutes a day, I remember when I was in that seat, I would always tell my parents, make sure your child is reading. And you're absolutely right. Something that they interest, that interests them. Right. So Sean, sometimes, you know, as Josh was talking about, you know, when you're in the seat and when you're in schools, we're always boggled down by so many other things that are coming at us, right? We have all of these reports and you have parents and whatnot. But when you're talking about parents specifically, right, what can you tell a principal out there to make sure, give us some steps or some ideas, and how do we create time so that our campuses do have that to bond with our parents?
Well, I think that as a principal, there are certain times during the school year that you really need to have the parents in. So, for example, before school starts, a week to 2 weeks before school starts, you should have like an open house or something like that you bring the parents in, bring the students in, and just for them to get to know you. You know, that's something that I did all of the time. So before school started, hey, let's sit down, let's talk about expectations, let's talk about the rules of the school. But also with that, I call it the townhouse meeting. During your townhouse meeting, you can give the parents some type of advice. Purchase the book, give them the book, really. You can really give them information that they can benefit from. So that would be the first thing. You know, the second thing is that during parent-teacher conferences, during things of that nature. Now we have parent-teacher conferences. Yes, we know about the report card, but also being able to engage parents during that time, being able to work with your teachers. So yes, we're going to talk about the report card grades, but also we're going to help support parents to become better at what they're doing. And as a principal, I always walk the hallway during parent-teacher conference time, and I would just say hi to the parents. And let me tell you what I did my last 2 years during parent-teacher conference time. It just blew my mind. I love it. I would in a hallway, I would have a computer set up, right, and we would go Facebook Live, and also we would go live with the parents,
Mm.
and I would say, parents, could you please say a few things about your parent conference? So they would go live on Facebook and Twitter, tweet it out to their people, and it just went crazy. So during the day, we had 85% of our parents that would come, but we would actually have close to 3 to 4 thousand new followers on that day due to the parents just saying positive things, taking pictures and things of that nature. And my
You
parents,
break down that barrier. I love that, Sean. It's a great
yeah,
idea because I can tell you, working with a lot of EB families and parents, some are scared. Some are scared to come on campus because
yeah,
it is. I mean, they feel like they're uneducated. They don't feel like they really have a place, and
yeah,
opening that up and saying, you know what, if that woman or that parent or that that parent can come into the school and do these things, then I can do that. And so you may have this whenever you have that next open house and next parent engagement
yeah,
opportunity, these parents will be coming in as well because they see their peers there as well. And they say, well, if they can do it, I can do it. So I love that idea.
yeah,
I'm gonna steal
yeah.
that idea from you.
Please do that. And then we would have competition. So I would tell my teachers, middle school or elementary, hey, which the grade level that has the highest percent of parents will get whatever. So now I've got my teachers calling. See, that's it. That's the other thing. I do understand emails. I do understand all of those things, but there's nothing better than the teacher calling the parent and say, hey, Miss Johnson, could you come up to the parent teacher conference? I would love to sit with you for 15 minutes. Blah, so then I would have, so if I had, so if a teacher had 20 kids, they had to RSVP
Hmm.
at least 70% of their parents. In addition to when I was sending out flyers and all of this kind of, I said, you're going to RSVP, you're going to give me the names of the parents that you spoke to and said that they were coming to parent teacher conference.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good. Good. Yeah. Everyone likes that healthy sense of competition,
Mhm.
especially between collaborative teams, between grade levels. So that's a great idea. Let's get back into the home aspect, Coach.
Yeah.
And with your wealth of knowledge that you bring in, the book that you wrote right now, you talk about the parent being the primary role model, correct?
Yes.
And so talk to the audience, let them know when you describe or you write in your book with your wife that the parent should be the primary role model. What does that look like? Can you tell the listeners?
Yeah. Yeah. When you're the mother, the father, that's your child. So it looks like this. If your kid is at home doing homework or reading, you sit next to that your child and read as well. Okay. Now you're modeling what you expect from your child. When you get upset or disappointed or whatever, make sure that you stay calm and you don't do things that your child that you won't want your child to see. You're modeling that. When you're dropping your kids off at school, for you just to say, I love you, have a good day. That's big. We don't even tell our kids that we love them. Imagine if we just hugged our kids and say, listen, I love you. Have a good day. Modeling it. When the teachers or the principal or somebody call you and something happened at school, instead of you blaming the teacher and saying it's the teacher's fault and my kid is innocent, no, go up there and hear both sides of the story, remain calm, and even if you disagree, there's a way to talk, there's a way to engage the educator. So those are a few things that parents, you don't need money, you don't need a dime to do this. You just changing your perspective on how you will parent. And then once again, the people that's watching this podcast, it will change how your kid behave, and it will improve your kid's chances to become successful at school.
Now, Coach, one of the things that you're known for, and you do this amazingly, is
Yes.
data.
Yes.
And how can you connect? Because you and I know, Texas, we do our own thing, right? We're no Common Core. We're no, we don't
Yeah.
listen to you guys. You 49,
Yeah.
relevant. It's Texas.
I know.
But but when we talk about that, our parents still need to know. In our language, it's approaches, meets, and masters. We have three. You know that. You work
Yeah.
at Texas, but the person sitting at home that just got off the job, he needs to know that his kid got approaches. He needs to know that he got masters. Oh my God. He needs to know that the pop of knowing what masters is. So what can we do sitting in our chair as administrators, as classroom team members? How can we communicate with the parents now that the scores are out? They've all been funneled out.
Yeah.
They're all in the system. What can we do right now? As you say, this is the time to prepare for next year. Well, how can we communicate with our parents what those scores are or what they mean?
I think what I have done and what I would tell principals do is that to be able to, first of all, I know it's summertime, but you might want to send a message, an email to the parents saying, hey, this is your child's state grade or whatever it may be. Your child showed mastery on reading or approaches. That would be the first thing. Also, with that, if your child does not show mastery, you can also have the conversation with the parent and say, even though they're not mastery, they improved from the following year, so they're showing growth. Mm-hmm. So now that's a whole different type of conversation. So no, they're not at that level that they're going to be at, but just think within another two years or whatever, they're going to be at a mastery level. I just think that as schools, we have to do better. We will do better giving information out to the parents. And it doesn't have to be the parent coming up to the school. You could do a virtual meeting with the parent. Hey, mom, you got 5 minutes. I want to go over something. So now, the mom could be on her lunch break at home. Now we're having those type of conversations. And then the other thing that we leave out is the teachers. Principal, you cannot do it all. You need to engage the teachers because the teachers, those are their students. So now we need to educate the teachers on what this means, because a lot of times the teachers don't know what it means. They just see the scores and, hey, put it in the corner somewhere. So being able to have the teachers and all of the stakeholders engage in what's taking place is so, so important.
Sean, I'm reflecting on what you're talking about, because you're absolutely right as far as helping our parents understand those test scores, because sometimes they see a score. I can't tell you how many times I talk to parents and they're like, they're always looking at, no, mi hijo no sacó 100. ¿Por qué no sacó 100? It's like, my son never got 100. Why didn't he get 100? It was always this 100. And sometimes you have to explain to our parents, even what does the test look like, or what does it mean? But then on the flip side is even grades itself. A child was taking AP calculus and he had like a 78, and mom was not happy with a 78 in AP calculus. Yeah. And it's like, mom, this is a very tough class, and 78 is not bad, but I mean, he's taking some rigorous classes. So can you help maybe a parent understand, how do you ask those tough questions, or how do you advocate for those for your child? Because I can tell you, just in working with some of my parents, from the outside here, where they'll call me and they'll say, this principal doesn't understand me and I don't know how to talk about my child. So can you give some tips to some parents out there that may not know how to advocate for their child in a, maybe with a counselor, with a principal, with a teacher?
I think the first thing that I would say, any parent, schedule time after school to meet with the principal, and even high school principal and their counselor. Schedule time after, not during the school day because it's hectic. After school, can I have 30 to 35 minutes of your time? So now as a parent, I'm going to the meeting and now I have time to ask questions. Could you walk me through what their SAT score is? What are some of the things that you have at the school to help my son get better on a SAT or ACT? Could you walk me through, what does it mean to that I scored a 79 on AP calculus? How does that translate to the other realm? Being able to have those conversations with the principal. Also with that, asking the principal or the guidance counselor, what resources can I do at home to help my child? What could you give me a list of? And oh man, could you give me a list of 3 or 4 websites that my child can use at home? You don't have to be the expert, but just this is what I want my child to use. Give me. Could you let me know at the school? Do you have after school tutoring? See, those are things we don't ask. Do you have after school tutoring for that? Now the flip side of this is this: as principals, we should always, as principals, we should also be able to have parent meetings and parent nights where we bring the parents in and walk them through what this thing looks like. That's what I did. I said, no, what? Why don't we just bring all of the parents in and show them what the state test looks like? Have them take a couple of questions. See, this is what I did. Have them take a couple of questions. So I have folders with all of my kids' information. So I gave it to the parent. I say, Mom, this is your child's state score from last year. Okay. This is their district score. And this is the test that they're going to be taking in 3 or 4 more months. We're going to walk you through it. Okay. So I had it on the screen and we said, page 1, let's answer this question. So then when they saw how difficult it was, that's when I was able to say, this is why we need you to work with him or her at home. This is why they have to come to school on time every day. This is why we need them to stay focused. This is why we need them to do these things. When parents saw it, it just blew their mind. So I think that's once again, that's how you bring both entities together on the behalf of the student.
It gives value to the number.
Yes.
Right? You're not looking at meets masters. You're looking at what constitutes that, right? So you're giving them an example so that parents actually see how difficult this test can be, so that they understand it just firsthand because you're giving them those examples. I love that idea. It's really
exactly. And then not just one time, but it has to be ongoing. It has to be part of the climate and culture of the school. So it goes back to what Principal Tarver said, is that now when we have these parent conferences, no one is afraid. They feel that, okay, we're working together. We're a family. We're coming together just by these small touch points. And I'm going to say this again. If we did small touch points, and when the big touch point come, now it won't be this thing where I'm nervous, I'm scared, or the school is the boogeyman.
Yeah, continuous
Yeah.
parent engagement, parent communication. I love it.
Dr. Moreno, did you ask about the GOAT?
Oh, let me talk about the GOAT.
Yeah.
Sean, so in your book, you talk about that students are considered the GOAT. What? Please help me understand that.
Okay, well, the GOAT is the acronym for greatest of all time. Okay, so that's what it means, greatest of all time. So the parent and the school, every parent should believe that their child is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. So now, when you have the GOAT in your school, the greatest of all time, the educators must educate that child, must educate that student like they're the greatest of all time. See, what happens is this, is that we will lower the standard when we believe that the kid can't reach it, because in our mind, we already have a preconceived notion, yes, on who the kid is, where they come from, and things of that nature. Okay? But if you believe that all your kids are the GOAT in their family, you're going to have high standards for those kids. So you're not going to throw in the towel if they can't read this one sentence. You're not going to throw in the towel if they can't do the math number. You're not going to throw in the towel if they can't speak English properly. You're going to find resources. You're going to find help for that child because you believe that this kid is the greatest of all time.
And you know what? That is so true. Because sometimes just because I have kids myself, right? I have 2 kids in myself. And sometimes, I scratch my head and it's like, what in the world is going on with this kid, right?
Yeah.
Because he's just not performing what I expected him to. But it's all in that mindset, even as parents, right? We have to understand and and really push our limit for our own kids. And if we do that for our own kids, then we expect that for our teachers as well, right? So it translates for teachers. Teachers have to have this mindset that we can change our students' trajectory simply by providing that support and working with the parents, because we can't do this alone, right? We have to work together. It
Yeah.
takes a village, right, Josh?
Yeah.
It takes a village to educate our students. And so I'm super excited that there is this book available,
Yeah.
so that we can use it as a resource. Because I wish I knew about your book earlier, because I would have definitely gotten your book a long time ago. Because guess what? I was reinventing the wheel here. I was thinking about what else can I do for my parents? How else can I support? How else can I? But if you have something already, I can use it as a resource, because we as principals need resources too.
Yeah, that's the reason. When I was a principal, I said, man, I was saying the same thing to all of my parents year after year. But I said, if I was able to give them something, and then even before the kids come to school, before they start to act up in October, November, if you say, Mom and Dad, I know this is an easy read. I need everybody to read chapter 1, 8 pages, 5 pages. So now when they come up to the school and start to complain or whatever, you can say, know what, Mom, did you read chapter 1? I didn't read it, Mr. Hurt. Okay, let's read it real quick. And it says that you can't come up here and yell at the teacher when you're upset. This, I mean, really, it's so practical. It is funny, because I do have a sense of humor, but we assume that parents know and understand. We assume it, and I'm tired of assuming. Let's give parents some strategies that they can live by, that they will understand. And it goes back to that GOAT thing. Once we start to speak, and I want to go back, once we start to speak life into these kids, once we start to just believe in them, speak life, tell them that they're going to college, tell them that they're going to go to a trade school, tell them that they have a bright future, tell them that they're the smartest inside of the classroom. When we start to speak life to kids, they will start to believe it. And that's what I did as a principal. People always ask me, and I know I'm going off on a tangent, but people always ask me, say, Hurt, what was the one thing you did to really transform your school? I said, as a principal, every morning on that PA, I would take 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and I would speak life to all of those kids. Mm-hmm. Speak life to everybody, first thing. And then I said, second, I was so determined to have the best school in Michigan. I said, that was my goal. So now my standard for everything was raised. My standard for the teaching that was taking place inside the classroom was raised. My standard for how my school looked. I wanted to have hospital floors that you could eat off the floors at my school. So the custodians knew, hey, we're going to keep these floors clean. We're going to make sure the bathrooms are smelling good, stuff like that. It was the little things that made the parents and the students realize that we are raising the standard here at the school. And once again, we don't care where you come from. We don't care about your situation. We don't care if you have 2 parents and 1 parent, or if you can't speak English or can't speak English. That means nothing to us. We're going to have high standards with love behind it. That's going to be able to educate these kids. So that was always, that's what I felt that needed to take place.
Trust and relationship.
So true. Coach, trust relationships. And a administrator out there, if you're not speaking live every morning to your school, there's going to be issues. Yeah. You have to. Oh, but I don't know what to say on the PA. Oh, but I don't know what message to say. It's not about me. It's about the kids. No, you wanted the chair. It's your vision. Mm-hmm. You applied for that. You can't complain that you got no mic skills. It's not about mic skills. It's your leadership, your corazón. Mm-hmm. It's what you're bringing to the table. Oh, I don't do announcements. It's for the kids. They don't need to see me. No, but they need to hear you and your vision. Just like Sean Hurt says, just like Baruti Kafele says, just like Dr. Moreno says, because you wanted that chair. You wanted the leadership chair. Mm-hmm. You got to spread your vision daily into the body that's the campus.
Yep.
So, Coach,
Yep. Even like in the afternoon, because once again having the pulse of the campus, I would get on a mic in the afternoon right after lunch at about 12:30. I would say, "No, what? I'm so proud of everybody. We have not had one kid that came to the office for a referral. Keep up the good work." Like something like that. Oh my God, that goes a long way. So now I'm telling everybody that we're having a good day. We're moving along. So for the next 2 hours, let's stay focused. Let's keep teachers keep on working hard and stuff. Little stuff like that matters.
Matters.
It matters.
Absolutely.
and then
Yeah.
after you made that announcement, Coach Hurt, 10 referrals came in.
Exactly. I'm like, hey, Josh, I'll be so mad. I'm like, really? Did you just hear what I said about 15 minutes ago? Now, why you want to come down? We were having a good day. I could leave a little early, like we're having, and now before, no, what? You're right about that.
If you're an assistant principal or maybe an elite teacher, you know
Yeah.
that happens. You give a compliment, and then they say, "Oh no, sucker, you're gonna
No.
spend another 3 hours."
Exactly. No, it's going too good. I love it.
Hey, Coach, they tell me that when you author a book, this is your second book. When you author a book, it's your baby, right?
Yeah.
And before we get into the échale ganas questions, tell the audience what part of your baby do you love the most of this second book?
I think the part that I love the most is being able to talk to parents. I know without a shadow of doubt that every parent is sending their best to school. We act like the parents like, no, I'm gonna send you my work. No, every parent believe that this is their best. I know for a fact that parents want their child to be successful in school. We just have to give them strategies. If there's nothing else, we just have to give them strategies. They don't even have to use all this, just use one or two strategies, and it will go a long way. So I think that parents and I'm so passionate about this because I'm seeing parents, they want it. Imagine every day you going home crying, thinking that you don't have that there's no light at the end of the tunnel. You're working 2 or 3 jobs. Maybe the situation with family members aren't good. So you want to see something in your life that is successful. And why can't we make your child successful? Why can't we make that child that light where maybe there's so much darkness in your house? So that's where my passion is at for writing this book. I want to bless parents all over the world.
Love it. And it's that time, Coach. I hope you
Yeah.
did your homework.
I did my
hope you did your
homework.
homework. If not, a lot of guests have already owed me a lot of stadiums because they did their homework. All right. So, hey, your upcoming guest, you better, it's a lightning rod, as Jefe says. All right. We ain't here to give a thesis or read Moby Dick over the podcast. Here we go. Ready? The échale ganas. You guys in New England, you're still in school. We already tapped out. So someone is starting school tomorrow on Monday. So we're going to tell them, échale ganas. And for those of you in Wisconsin who don't know what that means, that is a spiritual, cultural word used by all Hispanics across the globe. If you're Hispanic, you use that more often than not to encourage the people younger than you or someone next to you. And there is no equivalent in the English language. Ganas is something cultural and spiritual. So this is the échale ganas questions. So number 1, give some advice to either a teacher or an administrator.
Well, I would say the first advice that I give you to anybody is that you must be passionate about the work. There has to be a why behind the reason why you're sitting in this chair. Not because money, not because you want to have a title, but you have to really believe in your heart. You have to really believe in your heart that you can make change. It's not the next person, but you as an individual can make change for all of those parents, students, and stakeholders in the community.
All right. We all get a blank paycheck via a note, via a text, or email. Educators, don't forget those blank paychecks that kids give us, parents.
Yeah.
Coach Hurt, read to us a text, an email, a letter that was given to you that you said, eso es mi corazón.
Mr. Hurd, I thank you for all of the hard work and toughness that you had did toward us when we were students. It really paid off to me as a grown adult. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, it's time for you to send some flowers. You know what? We're so horrible about this as educators. We stink straight out. We don't send flowers to people that are suffering the same thing as we are. Someone in Wisconsin, someone in the neighboring district, someone in the next grade level.
Yeah.
Send some flowers to someone that inspires you right now, Sean Hurt.
Well, I would say the person that inspires me is Principal Kafele. I really just thank him for that. I wouldn't be in this seat. I wouldn't be doing on this podcast. I would not be doing this if he didn't take time out of his day 8 years ago to spend 30 minutes with me in my office. I was a principal, and he just spoke to me some things that really opened up my eyes and heart. That's why I am a firm believer in words. Words can take you to a whole nother level. Words can really make you look at things in a different light. So I say Principal Kafele for just taking time out and just doing what he did for me.
So part of that is you can't say Kafele again. Who should the audience follow?
Follow. Mm-hmm.
Oh, easy. I would say first, audience to follow Principal Josh Tarver. I'm a firm believer in that. Yes, follow him. Please follow him. No. And I'm not saying that because I'm on your podcast. Because I watch you from afar. I watch your videos. I watch how you motivate the students, how you motivate the teachers. I see how you connect with the community. I'm watching that. I see that you're bringing in energy every day. I'm not saying that because you're on here, but more people need to see you and to become more like you when it comes to an educator working with their students. The other people that I'm going to say is Dr. Shiki Houston, Dr. Tammy Taylor, Creighton Educate. Yeah, we call ourselves the Fantastic Four. The reason for that is because we all have the same spirit. We really do. And let's, we all want the best for educators all around the world. Not one person can do it by ourselves. So we're not in competition with one another. We want to transform the world because the work that we're doing, the work that Dr. Josh Tarver is doing, you never know when a person tonight might say, you know what, I want to give my life and I just want to commit suicide. And then I had spoke about it. But if they can get a word from Dr. Tarver, if they can get a hug, if they can get I love, whatever that is, it can stop a person. And then I'm going to the extreme from killing themselves. This is real. This is real. This could be a person who's about a mother that's trying to throw in the towel. I can't take it no more. Just to hear Josh Tarver talk to the teachers, and that teacher on Monday will be able to sit with that kid or call that parent and give them an encouraging word. So those two people, those are the people that I know for a fact you should follow.
Hey, Sean, let me just cut in real quick, Josh. So it was funny because Josh constantly tweets and sends stuff out. So somehow he jumped into my feed, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, who is this man? So, I mean, just like you, I was like, I started following Josh. And so I reached out to him and I said, can I meet you like in person? Because this virtual thing, I mean, I was just in awe of Josh. So I went out to Garland, USA, as you call it. And I mean, he's just inspiring. And let me tell you one last thing about when you talk about having someone talk to you or have that person, I can't tell you how many times those people that you're talking about, like Josh, I get those messages from him saying, hey, you're doing a great job. Those words just really resonate sometimes with me. And I'm like, you know what? I am. Sometimes we just need to pump ourselves up, right? And we don't do that as often, but we have great people that you're saying to follow who does that for us, and then we turn around and we do it to others too, because sometimes we just need some support ourselves, right?
Yeah. And Josh has been doing that. I've been following him for 4, 5, 6 years, so I've been seeing him with the words, with things he posts, how he engages his students, how he engages his teachers, how he encourages them and things of that nature. that goes a long way. And then once again, like I said, if we have more Josh Tarvers out there, if we have more of them, schools would be so much better. No, seriously, yep, the schools would be so much better. We will lower the suicide rate at schools. We will have more kids that will be gainfully employed. We will have more kids off drugs and things of that nature, because when you have the principal that's leading the way he's leading, it has a direct impact on the teachers, right? Right, Josh Tarver. So now Josh Tarver has 60, 75 adults inside of his school that's saying the same thing that he's saying. So now those 75 adults can reach those 500, 600, and 700 kids. In a perfect world, we would love to save them all. But if I can save more than maybe I can lose, that is a win-win for us. And now we do it year after year after year. So now Josh is scaling his work. A lot of times we just do it in a vacuum. But now if we can scale Josh and make more Joshes, which we can, because he's putting his spirit into his teachers. Now when they become principals and APs, they're doing the same thing. So we're just replicating it over and over and over again.
Well, I'd like to tell the audience that they're about to get cash stamped $100,000. It's a lot of plasma. I'm gonna go donate right now so I can cash up them that. And I thank you very much. There's no words for me to say. Thank you very much. Appreciate your word. Thank you. Thank you. Coach, how can people reach you?
Well, people can reach me on all social media platforms. You can reach me Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and also on YouTube. Just type in Sean Hurt. It will come up all of my videos, all of my things that I put on my social media pages regarding just educational tips. You name it, I have it up there. I have hours and hours and hours of stuff. Once it comes in this brain, I just go ahead and put it out on the computer and let everybody have it. So you can reach me on all social media platforms.
All right. And please make sure that you follow him on YouTube so he could get his subscribers up. He's looking for that. Along with Principal Cafele, he wants to reach 25,000. We're all on the same team, supporting each other. That's what we need to do. Supporting our parents, buying this book, sending it to our parents, having these meaningful conversations, because we're all in the same game. Coach Hurt, thank you for being here. Thank you for being Fantastic Four. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you for dropping the knowledge, because that's what it's all about. It's not getting easier. It's getting harder. We're evolving as educators, and we need this type of book. We need this type of conversation, because we're not alone. I always tell people, you're not alone. You choose to be alone, because this avenue, these podcasts, social media can connect us with educators in England, in Australia. This young man right here, he's already doing PD in other countries. So is Cafele. Everybody's all together. But you know what? It's you. Your imagination is your limit. And if you are not growing together, then the only person that is being hurt are your kids, because they keep on evolving. They keep on changing. So thank you for being here tonight. Next week, episode 6, the secret sauce. The what? I ain't talking about McDonald's. The secret sauce is coming up for Father's Day. Who is that? Well, look at the promo. And thank you to Rick Carr, who did the guitar for our promo. That's a former student of mine, class of 2008, created that for us. And that's how you build bridges with your kids, because they know you care for them, because kids don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Thank you very much for being here tonight. Coach Hurt, show that book again. You can pick it up on our website. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You got the other one?
No, what? Yes, I do. Just I don't have it. No
time. Show it.
Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me go grab it.
We'll banter. Thank you, Dr. Moreno. We'll be seeing each other at TSSP. If you're at TSSP, let us know in the comments. Let us know. Go see her site.
Yes, I will be there.
There you go. There. 2 books, 2 children in his hands. The one where he turned around to school, talking to parents. ¿Qué más quieren? What else do you want? It's here, and it was all for free. We'll see you next week, 4 p.m. Central, episode number 6, The Secret Sauce. Peace.